So welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to talk about body language, tone, and triggers. BLTT, if you will. I really hope that's not like a weird thing on the internet, like short for something that I don't know about, but if it's not a thing, you know, and dog trainers start using that as a term, like you heard it here first. I coined it. It's mine, BLTT. So I get credit. But first I want to give a quick shout out to JJ and Miss Ruthie. You have definitely been a huge inspiration on this video. And also don't forget to click all the buttons, like and subscribe, share this video, things like that. All right, so let's get into it. So body language. I don't expect the average pet parent to automatically know or care. I mean, there's a lot of pet parents that don't do what a lot of us do. Like they just kind of have a dog and just have a dog. They don't pay attention to anything. So for the average pet owner, I don't expect them to know all the cues and signs that dogs can give us. And dogs' body language can be so subtle at times, like even if you do pay attention, you might miss it. I mean, they can be really tiny cues on how they move their face, how they move their ears and things like that. I mean, heck, I mess up too. I miss things too. Even though I've been around dogs and worked with them for as long as I have, I still don't always pick up on things. Dogs tell us a lot more than I think people realize. I think people don't focus enough on body language when it comes to our dogs. And Sully, for example, in his socialization video we did recently, a lot of people said he wasn't that bad. And yes, I will agree, he wasn't that bad. I have seen dogs with reactivity way worse than him. I have experienced aggressive dogs, you know, at the vet office or, you know, at the grooming places I worked at. And like, he's definitely not as bad as it could be. But a lot of the things that he displayed, they're not great signs. Like, you know, the whale eyes. Whale eyes is a thing. You know, the dog's eyes are really wide open. You can see the whites of their eyes. You know, ears back. The way he lunged at the cage a couple of times and tried to, you know, do a snappy snap, you know, whether or not that was going to be a full bite or not, I don't know. I wasn't going to risk it yet. We're still, you know, working on things with him. But, you know, those are just some things I noticed in the video. And I also noticed where I messed up too on a few things. And then, you know, I was even reminded of a couple other things that I messed up on, which I'm totally fine with because I don't do dog training for a living. You know, I just do dog training for my household. I don't know everything. I have my own way of doing it. But regardless of that, like, I've always tried to pay attention to body language, like even when I used to groom and things like that, watching the way a dog's face is, how their body, you know, there's so many signs, you know, like tail wagging, for example. The whole concept of a dog wagging its tail and that means it's happy and it's excited to see you. That is not true whatsoever. I still remember the first time Silver ever snapped at somebody. I was taking her for, you know, her walk with her brothers. And this gentleman came up, tried to reach for her head automatically to pet her. I told him, don't do that, that's rude. And, you know, her tail was wagging the whole time, but her eyes and her lips, everything tensed up. Her face told me everything I needed to know. And that tail wagging, that wasn't a tail wag of like, yes, come pet me, I'm excited to meet you. That tail wag was, I'm ready to pounce you. And it was almost like a little rudder, you know, ready to get her to, you know, propel forward at this guy. And she eventually did because he wouldn't back down. But he kept saying it over and over again. Her tail's wagging, that means she's fine. No, it doesn't. A tail wag can mean numerous things. It can mean like caution, nervousness too. You know, I mean, there's so many things with the tail. Like, and then even when the tail's tucked down, people automatically assume like, you know, oh, the dog is scared and anxious. I mean, it could be a number of things. When a dog's tail goes down, I mean, they can be unconfident in the situation they're in. They could be, you know, they're trying to retreat out of the situation. I mean, there's even old videos where I did some training on this channel of Gypsy, and her tail was down during the training. And for some reason, she took it as, I'm in trouble. And, you know, eventually her tail went back up when she realized she wasn't in trouble for anything. She just got a little unconfident moment. And that's a lot with Gypsy. When she's in new situations, or if she's unsure, she will put her tail in that curled, tucked position. You know, but also sometimes a tail curled and tucked that way can mean pain. It could be there's something medically wrong with your dog. You know, there's all these things to pay attention to. Like even like, you know, showing teeth. I've heard people all the time say if a dog's showing teeth, it's aggression. It's like, no, it's not necessarily aggression. I mean, there's dogs that do the smiles on all the videos on the internet, you know, that's not necessarily aggression. I mean, Gypsy does like pull her lips back and show her teeth to Sully all the time, and it's a straight up warning. He doesn't listen, of course, But she does it, it's her polite way instead of other things she could be doing. But she's definitely displaying something to him. And I think it's important for us to watch all of those like cues, even though we might not know all of them. I mean, I'm trying to learn. It's just, there's a lot of them. And speaking of learning more, so JJ actually recommended me this book along with the other one I have here a long time ago. This book, I can't, that's picking up my lamp more than anything. There we go. I'm trying to be a better YouTuber. The Canine Body Language book. This thing is incredible, and it's got cattle dogs in it. And the first time I flipped through it, I landed on the page, which I'll show you here in a second, of a cattle dog. It's one of these things. So this is, if you can see that cattle dog's in a play position or play pose. And if you heard me talk about play pose previously on this channel before, I mean, it's where the dogs, you know, usually get its butt up in the air, you know, and they're like, let's play. But sometimes that play pose, like with cattle dogs, they will go in and that butt goes down and they just do this big like gesture towards another dog to play. And some other dogs don't read that very well. They read that as like, whoa, dude, what's happening? You know, because cattle dogs play extremely rough. They really, you know, like, let's do this, like, get into it. But the fact that the book says right here that it's an extreme version of a play bow, like that was like, okay, this is going to be great. So, and I loved reading, I haven't read this cover to cover, but I loved reading the other cattle dog things because it really, this person who wrote this again, I don't even remember. She really hits the nail spot on when it comes to cattle dogs and reading their body language. Like even stuff like this with the play bow. So both of these, you look at them, you think both play pose, right? There's subtle differences. Like that's tail up. So that's, well, that's not called tail up. His tail is up, or she, I don't know, which indicates more of a prey pose. Yeah, the pictures are like phenomenal in this book. Like even the two cattle dogs here, like the one is actually like looking kind of away, like he don't want to be there. Like I'm definitely taking pictures of my dogs where like I can see, like, because you know if Clea and Sully are having a bad day with each other or something and I'm trying to take a picture, like Clea just does this like look away, I don't want him near me mother kind of attitude. Like I said, I don't expect everybody to know every detail. I mean, gosh, the amount of different things about dogs' ears, which some of them I knew and some of them I didn't, like, there's just a lot to like pick up on all the signals they're telling us, but it's just really important for us to like actually try to listen, I guess is my point. So the next thing is tone. I've talked about this numerous times on this channel, changing the tone of your voice during training. And I give this advice out all the time to people. I'm constantly harping my husband about the tone he uses during training and things like that. And yet I forget to do it myself. I make mistakes too. You know, I forget my own advice too on tone because, especially with Sully, because he does the cutest things and I fall for the cutest. I do. I really do baby him. I have definitely contributed to his baby syndrome. I will admit it. But I can't say I contributed to the obsession with mother though. That's all him. But I really have to remember that there are moments that I really need to use my mommy tone with him. And when I say mommy tone, that doesn't mean scream bloody murder at the dog. It's a stern tone. Dogs, like humans, if you come at us like screaming bloody murder, we're not gonna listen. We're gonna shut down. We're gonna look at you kind of funny. You know, it's just mommy tone. You know what I mean? Basically, don't sit there and go, can you sit for me? You know, like that. And I know I've done that a little bit with all three of these. Well, the girls are fine. I could use whatever tone with them and they're fine, but he still needs work. So I really got to remember to use my mom tone. I can't sit there and tell him, you know, good boy. I have to be like, good boy, like flat tone. And when he starts acting up a little bit, you know, I have to really be like, you know, quiet, like not quiet, you know what I mean? Like it's hard to do on camera when I'm not in the moment, but sometimes just changing your tone when you're dog training is enough. And we see some of these people on, you know, the dog training shows and they have like this very unconfident tone. Like, it's like, of course the dog's not listening to you. You don't even believe what you're saying. You have to believe what you're saying, you know? And the last thing is triggers. So this one's a really tough one for me sometimes because a lot of people ask me what's triggering my dog. And that's hard for me to answer because, one, I'm not there with you guys. Like, I'm not standing next to you. And even during videos, sometimes it's hard for me to even figure it out that way, because there could be so many things that set off a dog, especially when it's like a reactive thing. Like, it could be even something like a car that's blocks away. Like, I know sometimes when Clea goes into an anxious mode, she's sensing something I don't see yet. And usually it's like a really big, like, fire truck or something like that. But, you know, anything can trigger your dog, whether, and it's not just reactivity. Like, triggers can be just anything that causes them to have a, you know, a change in their emotional state and how they're acting for that moment. But, and trying to find those triggers sometimes is like the biggest pain in the butt, because you just don't know, and you have to figure it out, what is causing them to act this way. And, you know, and dogs definitely have, like, what is it, like a threshold? Is that the word they use? They definitely have like a limit, you know, on certain things, you know, and especially like with Sully, with his reactivity, I knew he wasn't ready to be right next to a fence with another strange dog. Like, we're still kind of even working on that now, but at a distance, he's doing so much better. But, you know, as soon as, you know, I've talked about this before, his bubble. So we're trying to work past the bubble, you know. But he might not be ready for face-to-face on a fence with a dog. He's done good with a couple of them, but there's still some where he forgets his manners, you know. But I know what his triggers are, and I can see and that's where body language plays a part too. I can see the body language change. I can see what his body's telling me at that moment, and then I realize this is too much for him, and then I have to back off. You know, and that's one thing a trainer told me years ago I worked with, that a dog's reactivity, or if he has a certain behavior change, there's always a reason. You might never find it, but you know, it's important to try. I mean, heck, a squirrel could come by and give your dog a dirty look, and that could be a trigger, and you just didn't realize it because you weren't looking up at where the squirrel was. Heck, even coming in for a head pet, like, that could be a trigger. Like, that is a trigger for a lot of dogs. Like, a lot of dogs don't like you coming in there, petting their head, and they'll throw their ears back, and people just go in for it anyway. It's like, you know, you wait till the dog comes to you. Wait till the dog has built trust with you, and then go for like a chesty rub or a butt scratch. Those are way more, I guess, calming. Another thing a trainer taught me years ago too, you know, go in and pet the chest, never the head. When you earn that trust, then you can start petting, you know, doing ear scritches and stuff like that. But yes, those three things, you know, BLTT. Of course, Gypsy has to, you know, make sure you know she's there too. Distracted by the dog again, don't know what I was saying. But yeah, those three things, I definitely think more trainers should focus on. I think that would help dog owners a lot more out there than just, let's get this done and fix it quick type thing, because those three things kind of all play in with each other. But yeah, if you want to study a little bit more about dog, you know, body language and stuff, I would definitely recommend this book. I will leave a link down in the description below. And again, I'm not an expert in any of this. I just, I want to always keep educating myself and learn more and as much as I can about how to, you know, do better for my dogs, because they're, you know, they're what's most important. But that is going to wrap up today's video on, you know, BLTT. I really got to go Google that after this just to make sure it's not a weird thing. Anyway, but hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, continue the discussion in the comments, all that fun stuff, and take care, and we will see you in the next one. Bye. So apparently, according to the Googles, a BLTT is a ultimate turkey sandwich. I thought a turkey sandwich with bacon was just, you know, like a club sandwich, but apparently a BLTT is a thing. And I think he's pretty excited about that. What do you think, Sully? Would you like a BLTT with some bacon? Oh yeah, and some turkey? Yeah, turkey's good too. Well, Mommy doesn't have any bacon or turkey. I don't have anything. I don't have anything. Look at you snapping at my hand. I have nothing, sir. Oh, I got slimed again.